right, let's move over to page 81. We're going to go to drill F, and we're going to work on number 1 and number 2 for drill F on page 81. So for this one, we've got second and third conjugation verbs to work with, and we have to figure out which is which because they're a little bit different. So let's take a look at the first one. We have monate. Monate. All right, so if we know the dictionary form for monate, which we should, we know that is moneo, monere with a macron, which means it's a second conjugation verb. And because it's second conjugation, to find the stem, we don't drop the E-R-E. We just drop the R-E. We drop the R-E from the infinitive. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that, get rid of the R-E. That leaves us with monet. That's monet, which means our ending is NT. And if we know our ending is NT, we know that it is a present tense verb, and we know that it is the third person plural, which gets the pronoun they. So we have moneo, monere, which means worn, and we have they, and it's present tense, so we don't need to put anything else. We just put, oops, that was funny, they worn. So we have they worn for number 1. Now let's look at number 2. It looks very similar, but there's a little trick in here. So number 2, we have regent. All right, so if we know that dictionary form, which we should, it's in this lesson, we have rego, regere, and it does not have a macron. It is a third conjugation verb. And we know with third conjugation, to find the stem, we do not drop just the RE from the infinitive. We drop the E-R-E. And because we do that, we're left with a stem of R-E-G, reg, which means our ending is not NT, like that one, even though it looks like it could be. Our ending is actually E-N-T, which means it is not a present tense verb, it is a future tense verb. And it's the third person plural of the future tense of rego, regere, which means rule. So we have the same pronoun because it's third person plural, they. We have a new verb, rule. But since it's future, we give it the future tense helping verb, which is will. So it's they will rule. That's number 1, that's number 2. So make sure as you're working through that you're checking the dictionary form to see if it's a second conjugation or a third conjugation. All right, let's go over to page 82, and let's do the translation for the first one. I know these are tricky, cause a lot of you some stress, but if you take your time, you go slow, step by step, start with the subject or with the verb, either one, you'll do just fine. So let's take a look at number 1. We've got femina equo dicit tibi fructum dabo. So obviously my notes are here, so I've already taken notes on this, but this is the sentence we start with. Femina equo dicit tibi fructum dabo. So we have a quote here, so that should be a helpful giveaway for one of our verbs. But let's take a look at the subject first. So we have femina. We know that it's femina, feminae, which means this is going to be our nominative singular, right? So it's a noun, it means woman. It's the nominative singular, which means it's going to be our subject. Remember, we can only have one subject, only one noun in the nominative case. So we have woman, or we could put the woman or a woman here. Now let's move on to the next one. We have equo, which is another noun. It's not going to be our subject, but it means horse. And judging by that ending, it's going to be the dative singular of horse, which means it's going to be our indirect object. So it's receiving some kind of action. The woman did some kind of action, and the horse is going to be the one on the receiving end of this. Let's take a look at the verb. We have dicit. It's a verb which means say. Judging by this is the present tense, and it's the third person singular, which is he, she, or it. So instead of saying he, she, or it, we're just going to use woman. So the woman says, because it's present tense, it's happening right now, the woman says to the horse. All right, the woman says to the horse. That's where we are. That's the first part of this. Now let's go inside the quotations. Let's look at tibi. Well, tibi is a pronoun. It means you, and it's in the dative singular. So it's going to be another indirect object. So this is, you is going to be on the receiving end of something. All right, let's move on. We have fructum. That's a noun meaning fruit. And this is the accusative ending, accusative singular ending, which means it's going to be the direct object. So it's the thing that you is receiving. Let's look at the verb. Verb meaning give, dabo meaning give. It's in the future tense, and it's first person singular. First person singular, that pronoun is going to be I. So since it's future tense and we have first person singular, it's going to be I will give. I will give, what am I giving? The direct object, which is fruit. And who am I giving the fruit to? You. So we have the woman says to the horse, I will give fruit to you, or I will give you fruit. I'll write that out. The woman says to the horse, I will give you fruit. So I know there's a lot going on here. So you have to take notes. You have to go step by step, word by word, looking at the endings. What do the endings tell you, right? What do the endings tell you? They're going to tell you what case they are. They're going to tell you what number they are, what tense they are, what person they are, all the information you need. So go look at the stem, look at the ending, take notes of all the information it could be. And then once you have that information, you can make a really good guess and you can solve this stuff and translate. So good luck. If you have any questions, I've got tutoring hours. Come let me know. All right. Before we go, let's look at one last thing. The derivatives. This is on page 82. This is at the bottom. Derivatives. I'm just going to read these. You guys can read along with me. So in times of emergency, Rome appointed a blank for 1 year. Well, usually it's people that are appointed, and only one of these derivatives is actually a person, and that's a dictator, someone who rules. They are head of the law. That's them. So dictator for 1 year. A blank memory is one that is very real or alive. Alive is your key word. What is the derivative for to live or be alive? Vivid, a vivid memory. A blank is where two roads or things connect or meet. Connect is your key word. What is the derivative for connect? Junction. A junction is where two roads or things connect or meet. A blank is a blank designed to drag or pull farm equipment. Drag is your key word there. What is the derivative for drag or haul? That would be tractor. And what is a tractor? It is a vehicle. So a tractor is a vehicle designed to drag or pull farm equipment. The Empire State Building is one of the tallest blanks in New York City. We talked about this. A structure. A building is a type of structure. So it's one of the tallest structures because it's mentioning the Empire State Building in the grand scheme of all of the buildings, of all the structures. Number 6, if you are obsessed with something, you have a blank about it. Remember, obsession. Fixation. If your mind is fixed on something, if you're obsessed with something, you have a fixation about it. And the last one, someone who cannot be conquered is invincible. They cannot be conquered. They cannot be defeated. They cannot be killed. Invincible. So that's our workbook. That's our lesson. If you guys have any questions, obviously email me or sign up for one of my tutoring sessions. We can chat on Zoom. We can go through question by question, however you want to do that. If you don't sign up, if I don't hear from you, then we will do a live Zoom class. So everybody will jump on Zoom at the same time on Thursday at 9 o'clock. So Thursday, 9 o'clock, we're going to do a 30-minute Zoom class, everyone together, and I'll send out more information about that as we get there. So thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys soon.